Oh, for fuck's sake. Well, it's official. YouTube has once again failed its user base, and they've deemed Quantum TV innocent, saying that he has done absolutely nothing wrong. You know, despite the clear proof out there for everyone to see that he's done shit wrong, a lot of which I've covered in my previous 8 videos on him. It is honestly mind-blowing to me that YouTube are very happy to terminate channels like Leafy and Monkey Jones for ridiculous reasons. But then when a legitimate danger to the platform shows up, like Quantum TV, who abuses the copyright system to silence criticism and ban evades, they won't do shit. The only reason this gets to me is because it sets a very dangerous precedent for YouTube. Because it tells everyone, you can use the copyright system as a means of silencing criticism, and YouTube won't do anything about it. Honestly, this just shows a massive double standard, since they'll terminate Leafy for saying Pokimane is ugly, but Quantum TV can falsely accuse Rich of Review Tech of being a child diddler, with zero evidence, which is unquestionably defamation. But, you know, they'll leave that up. I mean, not even a channel strike or anything. I guess YouTube just can't
keep that same energy.
Now, despite the clear double standards here and the horrible precedent that this sets to the platform, I would still have to say the worst thing about this decision is that it is 100% inflated Quantum TV's already quite large ego. Because now Quantum TV thinks this proves that he's innocent. Even though, you know, YouTube for years thought Onision was innocent. So, this really only proves further that YouTube don't actually know how to enforce their own guidelines. And so, Quantum TV has uploaded this video titled, "The Actman and Friends Failed at Malicious Termination Efforts Against Quantum TV." Now, I will admit, I've watched about 10 seconds of this prior to making this video, but as soon as I saw that 10 seconds, I knew I had to make a video on it, because oh god, it's fucking terrible. But anyway, without further ado, let's begin.
Over the last few months, I've been getting slandered and maliciously attacked.
No, you've been getting criticized and made fun of for your consistent bad actions. None of it is slander, because all of it's true. There's legitimately evidence for all of it. For it to be slander, it has to be untrue.
By the audience of Review Tech USA, the Actman, Mischief, and a few other YouTubers.
And his name is Jordan Sino.
Who wanted to run with the line, Quantum TV is a copyright abuser.
And you are, considering the fact that you filed a DMCA takedown against the Actman in bad faith. Not to mention you threatened to use the copyright system to silence criticism from Mischief. That's copyright abuse. Like, do you want me to spell it for you?
They've really been playing heavy into that, and today, YouTube has vindicated Quantum TV.
Yeah, they also vindicated Onision, so, you know, I don't really think that means much. Not to mention, Mischief also pointed out that YouTube did almost no investigation, since it was up to him and the Actman to compile all the evidence. As well, a lot of the videos in question were removed from your channel, and YouTube's support team were unwilling to accept things like the Wayback Machine and archives of the videos as evidence. Basically, you didn't get off on the fact that YouTube actually did any investigation into this. You just got off on the fact that YouTube suck at doing their job.
Now, they won't come out and directly say that they were wrong and they completely created this slander campaign because they didn't like being told no.
No, this all started because you didn't like the fact that Mischief made fun of your shitty Elden Ring take, and so you decided to threaten him with a false DMCA strike. If anything, you're the one mad that you got told no, since everyone else was saying no to your copyright abuse, and you got mad about it.
But that's exactly what happened, and I'm glad that YouTube finally did the right thing, for once.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. If I ever want to kill myself, I'm just gonna climb up to the level of Quantum TV's ego and jump down to his intelligence.
And if we read what YouTube says directly, the most important thing is, after reviewing additional YouTube links that you sent us, our specialist team did not find any violations of our community guidelines standards. So basically, all that talk of all those other things that you claim that I've done, you're wrong.
No, it's just that YouTube didn't want to take your deleted shit into account, which is complete bullshit since YouTube have struck people before for deleted and privated videos. Even despite YouTube's decision, it's still obvious that you are in the wrong here.
Remember when I told you all in the beginning, watch YouTube tell you what I already know? There's a reason I've been so confident this entire time, and it's because...
narcissism.
And it's because I genuinely have proof that I, A, was hacked.
Then where the fuck is it, bro? You do realize that most of this could have been avoided if you just showed the goddamn proof that you were hacked. Although really, the hacking story falls apart when you realize that the hacked tweets and Facebook posts, you know, and the opinions expressed in those, are pretty consistent with the opinions of Quantum TV in a lot of his videos, most of which have now been removed to hide the evidence.
B, did disavow those tweets?
Claiming that somebody else did it and disavowing them are completely different things.
And also, in addition to that, I don't think you guys know this, YouTube doesn't mediate for off-platform stuff.
Yes, they do. How the fuck do you think EDP was removed from the platform? Oh, it's because YouTube does mediate for off-platform stuff.
So, if you have a problem with me, you need to take it up with, like, Reddit, Discord, they can't be responsible for what happens on other people's platform, right? That also is a thing. But in addition to that, like, there's so much proof on my end that I refused to show you all because I knew how you would take it.
Oh yes, there's all this proof that Quantum TV is innocent, that he just hasn't shown us. Shut the fuck up, dude. If it existed, you would have shown it instead of, you know, trying to threaten everybody and calling the Actman's mum. Bull fucking shit.
And I tested you all.
Oh yes, Quantum TV was just testing us all, boys. We've all been bamboozled. He baited us all. He's the fucking master baiter over here.
I put out a little bit of truth here and there. I released a phone call.
Dude, the phone call proved that you did the wrong thing. It literally showed you threatening the Actman's family. Like, what?
Me talking to the Actman, being sweet as pumpkin pie to the mother. Calling her ma'am, saying, would you please put me in contact with him? I mean no malice.
Yeah, also saying, hey listen, if you don't comply with my incredibly stupid demands, I'm gonna drag your entire family through the mud and derail their livelihoods. Yeah, you were sweet as pumpkin pie. Because you called her ma'am, and said that you mean no malice before threatening her entire family's livelihoods.
I was genuinely trying to work things out.
No, you fucking weren't. You were trying to intimidate the Actman. If you were trying to work things out, you would have reached out to the Actman on Discord, not threatened his mother.
And you know what they did? They twisted it and said, veiled threats of violence and doxing, and I can confirm Quantum is threatening my mother.
But you did that. In the phone call. That you showed. Here, I'll play the clip for you.
And I don't really like to go that route. It's not that I don't have the ability to go that route. I'd rather not drag a family through the mud given the times and the current status of the world. You understand what I mean? Like, we all have families and stuff we're trying to accomplish, so I'm not trying to derail anybody's livelihoods.
There's no way Quantum watched this back, because, like, he must be living in fucking fairyland to think that there's nothing wrong with this.
I would love to know what threats I made specifically.
Rewind this video about 30 seconds.
Number one. And number two, if you genuinely felt like I was threatening you, why didn't you call the police?
I mean, in a case of cyberstalking, why would he tell you that he's called the police? That would only make it worse. But also, from the shit in the phone call, there really isn't much that the police would be able to do. At most, he'd probably just be able to get a restraining order. But Quantum, can I ask what happened to you calling the police on the Actman? I'm really interested to know.
Why aren't the police involved? I've challenged you multiple times to call the police. And you haven't because you lied, because you were embarrassed that I called your mother.
Bro, the person that's embarrassing for is you. Like, you're a grown man calling somebody else's mother to tell on them for making a mean YouTube video about you. Like, ma'am, your son made a very mean YouTube video about me. And this guy calls himself an adult.
Some people might be watching and be like, why'd you even call this mother in the first place? This is a dispute between two men.
Yeah, no, that actually is a good question, since you've been able to contact the Act Man the entire goddamn time.
If you saw other videos I've uploaded, I was receiving all kinds of death threats, black people hanging from trees off of nooses, and a litany of racist crap because of his videos, and they were all in the name of Act Man.
And like I said in one of my previous videos, it's terrible that that's happening, but it is not the goddamn Act Man's fault that people are sending you that stuff. Mainly since the Act Man has said before for people to not go and harass you.
Now, I tried to reach out to him because surely no person can be this depraved. He surely doesn't know his audience is doing this, but he does know. Because upon finding that out, not only did him and Mischief just kind of allude to the fact that, oh, he could be sending this to himself.
I mean, to be honest, you could very well be doing that. In fact, I would not be surprised if it came out that Quantum TV was sending all that stuff to himself. I don't know, there is a rumor floating around about it, I will say that much.
With their attitudes and their behavior, but it's just kind of like twisting everything even further. Which let me know that no matter what I said, this was going to constantly turn into paint him as the bad guy.
But dude, you are the bad guy though, that's the thing. You are the person in this situation constantly doing the wrong thing. Even with the emails, I would have given you that one. I would have let that slide. However, you tried and still are trying to paint this picture that everybody making criticism videos about it caused this to happen. Which, no, they didn't. This doesn't happen to every YouTuber who gets criticized.
So I didn't even try.
Didn't even try with what? You have tried to defend yourself and blame everybody else in this situation at every turn. You've tried.
If you're gonna constantly say whatever you want, I know the truth.
I mean, you clearly don't, as represented in pretty much every video that you make.
And when an unbiased party steps in, I know justice would be done. And that's exactly what happened here.
I mean, it's not that YouTube are biased or unbiased, they just suck at doing their job.
Let me tell you what YouTube said. Regarding your claims of abusive takedown requests, I can also confirm our copyright team reviewed all the details you provided and determined that there were no violations. So, all that smoke that Mischief pumped up every single one of you guys' asses, talking about Quantum's a copyright abuser, YouTube in writing told you that you're wrong, and there was in fact no violation.
No, YouTube just thinks you didn't file a takedown in bad faith. Even though, you know, watch a single response video that Quantum makes to this situation, and you'll see that he clearly fucking did. Like, is there any doubt about that? Quantum TV doesn't care whether or not the Act Man's video is fair use. He just wants to silence criticism of him.
So what this basically means is, YouTube told you about yourself. You basically went on the platform, you said, behind all your fans and all your reputation, I will get your channel taken down. That's what you said. That video has like over 1 million views on it. I know you must be very embarrassed that you couldn't get the job done, neither could Review Tech USA with his YouTube contacts apparently.
You know what, the one thing I agree with here, and I'll even say that I'm guilty of doing this, is that we all put too much faith in YouTube to do the right thing. When we really shouldn't have, considering YouTube somehow managed to always do the wrong thing in situations like this. I mean, looking back, I don't really know what we were expecting since, you know, the company is still run by Susan Wojcicki.
And all the other people with their YouTube contacts that they...
I mean, I think Review Tech and the Act Man were the only ones with YouTube contacts. And even then, I don't think Review Tech even tried to do anything. I think it's just been the Act Man.
So upon complete and total defeat, you would think they'd be like, I apologize, I was wrong. I genuinely thought, man, I thought he actually copyright abused, but he didn't. So to be fair, YouTube has spoken, they investigated, so I'll let it go.
Yeah, the problem with that is that the only thing we have to go off of here is YouTube's word that they investigated it, even though this is a company known for not investigating into these kinds of matters and doing a piss poor job when they do. Not to mention, there's the fact that Mischief and the Actman were the ones who had to compile all the evidence.
They can't let it go. So they're all making their videos now.
How's it going, cutie?
What gets me is like Actman basically goes full on Karen, saying, I want to speak to your manager, Google, for the most part.
Didn't you do the exact same type of shit when people were stealing your videos and, you know, harassing you, aka criticizing your shitty takes? And the fact that you're just all around not a very great human.
In this response on Twitter where he goes, I'm going to use YouTube's own guidelines and throw the book at them. I did my homework, and there can be no misinterpretation of the facts. He has to be banned, otherwise this sets a terrifying precedent. A terrifying precedent?
Well, yeah, because it basically says, hey, if you want to abuse the copyright system to silence criticism, you can and you will face no punishment. It tells people that copyright abuse on this platform goes unpunished. Honestly, it's kind of a good thing that there's still the court of public opinion, aka the YouTube community.
That you can't just snap your fingers, point YouTube in the direction of somebody you want to destroy, and they, what, oblige? They give you your fake cancel culture? They give in to you being hateful because you feel like the world revolves around you.
You know, at this point, I feel like the only person who genuinely thinks the world revolves around them in this situation is Quantum, since he somehow thinks that, you know, every other person on the platform is wrong, and he's right.
You feel like someone needs to answer to every little talking point you have.
No, most people just unanimously agree that you are a garbage human being and that copyright abuse shouldn't fly on YouTube, and as such, your channel should be terminated. That's it.
Look at my uploads until this video. They're all about my tech stuff because I genuinely don't care. You can say what you want. It's your freedom of speech on the platform.
Unless you're using your freedom of speech to make a video about Quantum TV, or, you know, using it in his own comments section, or Discord server, or really anything that Quantum has.
You know, this bullshit you did where you said I threatened your mother with doxing and violence, that was malicious as shit.
Really? Him talking about you doing that was malicious, but, you know, you actually doing that and threatening his family, yeah, that was fine. I mean, it makes sense to me.
I released that phone call. A, if I wanted to threaten your mother, I damn sure wouldn't call from my real number.
I mean, you did, so, you know, unlucky as fuck, bro.
And that whole, like, the call in and of itself is a veiled threat of violence, like, no it's not, though. Like, people contact people when they're going through some crazy shit and they can't get in contact.
Yeah, the problem is, Quantum, is that the entire time, you could contact the Actman. It was never a case that you couldn't. You were always able to contact him. You did this for leverage.
And again, like I said, your number was the first public number listed, and I tried to reach you, it was disconnected, so I called your mother.
You know, this all could have been avoided if you just called him on Discord. You know, when he asked you to call him on Discord.
If I really wanted to dox your mother, it would have been very easy, because as you know, I have her number. Where have you seen that pop up in any one of my videos or on any one of my posts? Nowhere.
Yeah, the thing is that you literally told everyone in your video how you found their information, which could be considered doxing.
And even in the video where I released the surveillance footage of you, I literally, like, or the surveillance call, I literally, like, bleeped out your name, your legal name, to protect your identity, because, like, I'm not after doxing anybody.
Yeah, still a greater question is why the fuck did you have his legal name in the first place? Like, that's not something you should have. Not to mention, you basically said to everybody, hey, you can find the Actman's legal name really easily, here's how I did it.
But again, this is the stuff that goes overlooked, just like in my public statement video, how I disavowed those tweets you guys dug up.
I mean, it doesn't really count as disavowing them if you just blame them on somebody else and take zero responsibility for them.
Only reason you dug them up is because you wanted to reach in your back pocket and come hit me with something so terrible and so awful that I couldn't come back from. You were trying to find something awful about me, not realizing I'm legitimately the victim of both identity theft and I'm the victim of being hacked on multiple accounts. You wouldn't know this because you're not me, and I don't have to share that kind of personal information with you because you feel like, you're important.
Well, if you don't want to share that kind of thing publicly, don't be surprised when people think that those tweets were from you. Like, what are people supposed to think if you don't provide an explanation? Do you think everybody has fucking ESP and can see into the mind of Quantum TV? Now, even still, the hacking story is a load of bullshit. Mainly because the story keeps changing. Like, at first he said, oh, there's proof on my channel that was hacked, but now he's saying that he never shared any of it. What?
You're just some guy on YouTube, like, okay? You're nobody, you're nothing, right?
Inspiring words from Quantum TV. Or in other words, dumb words from a dumb cunt.
And this idea that, keeps getting propagated by Review Tech USA and all these other people, even though I've shown proof that my other channel was never ban evading, they ignore that entirely, refuse to cover the direct link on Mr. 4K Upscaler's channel proving it.
Yeah, the thing is that we've literally seen people like Kim Josh-un open up that link, and it takes them to this page where it says that the account has been terminated for community guidelines. So all I can really assume here is that Quantum TV probably has the channel now being run by somebody else who he is in close contact with. Because it really makes no sense that it would say that it was terminated for community guidelines rather than by the user. Which, if the case is that the channel is being run by a close contact of Quantum, that only further proves that he is ban evading.
They don't care about that. They also continue with this notion of, like he said, horrible, heinous things. Take every single thing I say out of context.
Every clip of you has been played in its full context. Nobody is taking you out of context, Quantum. Mainly because the context doesn't make a lot of those clips any better. Like in the Black Panther review.
And again, that's what this is about. You're creating a villain for the sake of creating a villain, and you're leaving no room for balanced and open dialogue.
You know, I've honestly lost count of the amount of times that people have offered to talk to Quantum TV and let him explain himself.
But there's one mistake, one flaw, one weak spot in the armor of your plan.
I'm a goofy goober.
You didn't anticipate there being a fair and balanced party to step in with a fresh pair of eyes, look at all the evidence on the table, not just from you, but also from me, and then say, hey, listen, we've looked into this entire situation, and you're actually wrong, like, really wrong about this guy, like...
No, YouTube just suck at investigating these kinds of things. Mainly because they wouldn't investigate any of your deleted videos or use any of the links provided to them that weren't explicitly YouTube links. Not to mention, a few minutes ago I was talking about how you could be covering your ass to avoid getting banned again. Mainly because if your old channel wasn't terminated for violating community guidelines, it wouldn't have said this.
You're really wrong! And again, upon hearing that, none of these guys that are making these slanderous videos are handling it well at all. They're just, this is a dark day for YouTube when these kinds of people get to stay on the platform. I mean, YouTube doesn't enforce their own policies, but they do.
No, they don't. YouTube have on multiple occasions been criticized for not enforcing their policies consistently. Like with Monkey Jones, where they constantly just made shit up in order to justify banning him. Or when they banned Leafy for calling Pokimane ugly. In both those cases, they didn't enforce the guidelines correctly.
But now, if the roles were reversed and you would have gotten your way and I would have gotten terminated, you would have championed YouTube did the right thing, and you would have boasted, and you would have said, Quantum got what he deserved, I took him down. You would have been the worst person about it.
Yeah, there's some truth to that. I think everybody would very much be celebrating if Quantum TV did get terminated by YouTube. Mainly because YouTube would have actually enforced their guidelines correctly for once. Still though, there would be criticisms of the way YouTube handled this. Mainly in the fact that once again it was left up to the community to basically do their job for them.
But here I am just literally, even now that I know, like, you lost, I'm not here antagonizing or taunting you.
Bro, yes you are, you fucking idiot. Just get the fuck off that bullshit high horse of yours.
Now, one last thing I want to touch on. Review Tech USA loves to say things like, oh, he calls me a pedo, and it's not, oh, it's slander.
Bro, that's literally what it is. Textbook slander. You literally accused Rich of Review Tech of being a kitty diddler just for being a fan of Vaush, who isn't even a kitty diddler himself.
I arrived at that conclusion after you saying you are a fan of a guy who says the age of consent should be lower for children.
No, Vaush never fucking said that. Even in that screenshot you are showing there. You have to do some serious fucking mental gymnastics to arrive at that conclusion.
And then goes on video and says that child pornography should be legalized to be 100% ethically consistent because we have slave labor and all this other outlandish stuff.
Bro, Vaush isn't saying that child material should be legal. He's saying that slave labor should be illegal. In order to argue that Vaush is pro-child material, you'd have to argue that he's pro-slave labor, which, I mean, good luck with that one.
And then you all defend it saying it was an edgy take.
No, the point was that the way Vaush was saying it was edgy.
You guys have a nasty habit when your boys and your friends get caught doing crap, like mischief with the George Floyd post.
Dude, it was an edgy joke from when he was 14 that he literally disavowed. Like, honestly, I'm getting real sick of addressing these same talking points in every goddamn video I make about this guy.
With like, Act-Man with this racist stuff that he's posted online, all these slurs and telling people to kill themselves and all that stuff. You guys have a really nasty habit, Review Tech USA, using slurs.
The Actman and Review Tech USA have apologized for all of that stuff. Honestly, I'm done with this. This video's long enough, so yeah, that's the end of today's video. If you did enjoy, leave a like. If you're new to the channel, why not subscribe? Turn on those post notifications. Join the Jordan Cino army. Follow me on Twitter. Subscribe to my second channel. Links to both of those are in the description. Please don't send any hate over to Quantum TV. It's really unneeded. But that's all for today's video. So until the next one, just get out of here. I'll see you next time.